Good afternoon. So we're back. So another season's here. So just do have a unique opportunity to open our season with a team that has played and we did not. So last weekend got to see Illinois play and like everybody else did, but just impressed with what Coach Bielema has done there in the short time he's been there and immediate impact. Even last season and they had 7 games or 1 possession games, and so many close opportunities there. So just physical football kind of sticks out to me, the way they play defense, the way they run the football offensively, and just a lot of respect for him and the job he's done there and the team that he has. And so I had a chance to welcome them to Bloomington here to open our season and also open up Big Ten play. So when I think about their offense, obviously the running back, Chase Brown's really special. And that's a great season last year and showed it again on Saturday, and big physical offensive line and new quarterback and Tommy DeVito that really seems to be a great fit for what they're doing schematically. And Isaiah Williams is a very, very talented receiver. I really like their tight ends. And they got a lot of receivers. I had a bunch of guys that caught the ball Saturday, and so it gives you a lot of things to defend. So new system that we're obviously didn't have to show a lot on Saturday, but we'll have to be prepared for a lot of things that we don't know about yet. And then defensively, just Coach Walter's done a tremendous job turning that defense around a year ago, and it's continued. A lot of guys back from that group and good length in the secondary. Just really impressed. The Brown twins, one on offense, one on defense. Really, really good football players, physical, athletic, and very, very active. And so just impressed with their linebackers, physical D-line. They make it tough on you up front and try to keep the ball in front of them. So good system on both sides of the ball, special teams as well. They got a new punter, had a really, really talented one a year ago and got another good one and started the game with a big kickoff return. So strong on special teams as well. So Big Ten football, it's what you expect. Really good football teams every single week and a tremendous challenge, great opportunity. Excited for our players to open our season. Tired hitting each other. It's been a long fall camp, a little bit longer than normal because of the new format. But guys have been busting their tails and doing a tremendous job of buying in and got some new faces and excited to see these guys come together and play and do it in front of our fans opening night on September 2nd. So questions?
I guess philosophically for you, new quarterback, probably new starting running back, even some guys maybe that are going to be starting for you that have been here but not been in such prominent roles in the past. Is this, as you think about it as a head coach and you think about what the growing pains of week 1 might look like and sort of figuring things out on the fly, is this as much kind of, I guess, uncertainty, for lack of a better word, as you can remember facing in your career in week 1? Yeah,
I would say probably the most number of new faces without question. That'll be playing opening night with such a high-caliber opponent and not having any preseason games or anything other than our scrimmages. So, yeah, definitely a lot of unknowns. And so I think that, that can be exciting. It also can be challenging. But I think, that's what you got to do. And that's where we're at. And that's what's in front of us. And so, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for our kids to play. But, yeah, there's these things you just don't know for sure. And like you said, a lot of different positions. I have some new faces there. And I'm excited for those guys that'll be in those roles and anxious to be able to see our guys go out there and compete and play in front of our home fans and in our home stadium. So I just think that, definitely creates a lot more anxiety, I think, for the coaches, but at the same time, a lot of excitement, and I can't wait. I wish we were playing tomorrow.
How are you doing, Tom? How did you guys come through preseason camp health-wise? Is there any key guys that you're expecting not to have on Friday? And also, you obviously made your decision at quarterback. How did just the first week go with a established guy? Yeah, I would say first part, relatively healthy. I don't say we're going to have every single person that we hope to have, but I would say it's going to be a high percent, so different than a year ago for sure. But and that's been a real focus, that balance of being physical and being able to prepare ourselves, but also keeping our guys healthy. Today was a very physical practice, full pads. It's a work day Tuesday for us on our game week prep mode. And so full pads and really, really physical day today, which is awesome. And I love
love that, but also you try to balance the two sides of that as well. So feel good about the health of our team at this point. And so, yeah, I had a chance to be able to last week have practices with our, the starting quarterback in place, and then obviously again today and will the rest of the week. So it's been really super positive. It's been great to be able to have those kind of reps and be able to have that kind of flow. And so I'm anxious to see those guys go out there and compete on Friday night.
Tom, not that you have any choice in the matter, but would you rather be playing a softer touch out of conference to start the season, or are you okay with starting with the Big Ten? Yeah,
I would say that the one part there is probably the biggest piece, and that is we got no control over it. So I'm just one of those guys. I try not to dwell on the things I can't change, but I think just from being in this profession for 30 years, you always feel a little better if you have a preseason game, to go through, whether it's a preseason scrimmage or which we used to always have in high school, or, when I was at the smaller levels in college, we always had a scrimmage that we would go and play against another team, and it felt like a real game, but it just didn't count, So we always had those, and that was always nice, and you felt a whole lot better going into week one with that. There's no question that there's always kind of like a desire, if you could just pick a perfect scenario, you'd like to kind of just continue to grow and with your group. So, but that's not how it is, So, and you just look back and you don't focus on that, and we really truly don't. I mean, I'm being very transparent with you, but I think that there are definitely advantages to opening with such a high caliber opponent, and a conference opponent, and there's no doubt that creates so much, positivity towards your program in so many different ways, and so that's what I really like, and that's what we embrace, and that's what we focus on, and you gotta just work through those kinks in the first quarter and second quarter rather than working through them in the previous week.
Coach, because you don't have that softer touch this week, are there ways that you have to approach this game different than maybe you would have if you did have a different opponent, like rotations?
I don't know, other than the fact that we've really been working hard to create the preseason feel in practices, the game-like feel. When I say preseason, I'm talking like a preseason game, and then we talk in each one of those. We talk preseason game number one, and even in today's practice, just the physicality of it all. You're just trying to simulate those things that you get from a game situation, and going into the stadium and being under the lights like we did last Friday night, which was really, really important to do. And so just going through all that to me to try and just kind of create that situation for your team, and from a mental perspective, from a physical perspective. And matter of fact, we did some mock games with our staff, and just to be able to simulate, with the time and the decision making and all the data that we collect, and because we got new faces, new guys in different spots, and even as simple as, and people don't think about this, but we got 4 brand new GAs, and so because all 4 of our guys from last year's staff all got full-time jobs, which is awesome for them, but new faces for us. So those guys have roles on game day that we count on heavily. So just the guys in the press box and working through all that. So we've done that, and so yeah, I think that there's no question you try to do all those different things, but nothing's like playing a real game. I get that, but you do everything possible to get as close as you can.
Coach, when talking to people about Cam Jones, it seems like the consensus is that he's a really, really good person. Are there any memories or stories that kind of stick out in your mind where you just were like, yeah, man, Cam is a really good person?
Well, I mean, there's no question. I always think back on, and you do this long enough, a lot of young men that you coach, and gosh, I don't know if I've ever been around a more genuine individual that just cares about people, cares about his teammates, cares about his family, wears that heavily on himself. Just selfless. I guess to me, it's just, and I think the first person that noticed it, brought it up to me was Coach Wellman. So this was even a year ago, in between our special teams work and different drill work, where he's obviously part of all that stuff. He's getting all the equipment off the field to help the managers, when most players are either getting water or just totally just focused on something totally different. And we're talking like the real big heavy bag, things that take, effort and it's just like, and I never paid attention to it because I was getting ready for something else too, and so, but it was just like, that's just something he's just so selfless about. It doesn't matter what it is, something small like that nobody would ever notice. And the way he leads his team and how much he cares and all the times we spent together. So it's just a other focused person, and he's a tremendously talented athlete. But he's going to be great in whatever he does. in football, outside of football. So I'm just so proud of him and so excited for him to be a guy that's, he's going to be voted, I'm sure, here a 3-time captain, which hasn't happened here very often, and so it's pretty special. He's a special young man.
Hey, Coach, were there any guys that were maybe further down on the depth chart at the start of fall camp that you think really impressed you the last few weeks that maybe have a chance to contribute on Friday that maybe you didn't expect?
Yeah, I think there's several guys I think have come along. I think Brylan Lanier is a young man that has really stepped up, and he comes here new and doesn't have a chance to have a spring with us, and so gets thrown into a lot of things in a short amount of time. And I think he's really elevated his play in a huge way, which is really important for us. I think Josh Sanguinet is another one, just continues to get better. Even today, just thinking about watching him out there move around and finish tackles and be able to be in position to do that as a guy that, he's obviously been with us, but needs to step up, needs to elevate himself, and so I think at the receiver room, Anderson Colby's another one that continues to just really flash for us, and excited for him and his opportunity he's been given, in our program. And I think also James Bamba, is a guy that continues. I thought even today, some things we did from a physical perspective were impressive, and so just I know he cares so much and just has such a tremendous work ethic and toughness. And so guys like that to me have really elevated themselves. I think Khalil Benson's another one that has really started to come on. I think that he needed to have a tremendous summer. He had a phenomenal summer. It's always amazing how that's just usually a precursor to a great fall camp, the way they approached the summer and the mindset that he had and the workouts and the way he was doing things like that. And that's a guy that we need on the offensive line to really step up, and help us and be the kind of player we knew he could be. So several others, but those are the ones that jump out to me at first.
Tom, can you, after all the practice sessions that you had this year, can you get a feel for the character of this football team and how it will carry out through the year? Or is it something that just has to play out on its own?
Yeah, I think, from all the years doing this, I think it probably manifests itself more clearly as the season unfolds. But I think because you can't ever simulate the highs and lows of a season and how they're going to respond to that. But you have clues, we brought a guest speaker in. He said something that kind of stuck with me. He said, greatness leaves clues, and so you get signs of a team's character and their qualities and the little things that they do. And so there's a lot of things about this team that excites me in those areas, to where I feel like we have a strong group of leaders that care a whole lot and are going to make sure things are done the right way and that the little things are attended to, and Cam Jones is a massive part of that and his passion that he has for this program. And it's infectious for the guys around you and multiple guys, I would say Monster is that way, and Tywone Mullen and Jay Williams and Jalen Williams and James Head, and Matt Bedford on offense and A.J. Barner's elevated himself and all the guys on that side of the football that I feel like have just really, really absolutely busted their tails. And, I know how hard Jack has worked and you bring a guy in here like Connor and what he's bought into our program and then Sean Shivers, who has not been here that long, is just highly respected and just works so hard and just brings such an energy to everything he does. So those are things that you really like seeing, and I think that's super positive for our guys. But at the end of the day, to answer your question, probably, I think the season has to kind of unfold and the guys have a chance to live out and respond to the good and the bad and the ups and the downs that the season always brings you, and so I think that's where that true character. And it's interesting because it kind of like as the season unfolds, you kind of see certain, personalities of them as they play and sometimes the good qualities, and they just continue to keep showing up. And sometimes the negative things that kind of haunt the team kind of sometimes don't seem to go away either. So that's where you got to try to address those things early. When you see the good things, you want to elevate them. The things that not what you want, you got to be able to try to work through those to create a different outcome. But yeah, I think that every year, every team's a little different.
Coach, this year with the advantage of not having anything on tape, the only way to look at it is everything's we've talked about. Illinois played first, but how much pressure does that put on the offense to use that advantage to succeed in this game with the importance that it lays?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's always pressure. You know, we got pressure on both sides and special teams, but I think that it's first game of the season is Big Ten game. You know, and so I think that they expect them to play well, and they need to play well. And in order for us to win, that's what's got to happen in both sides of the football. But yeah, I think that I think there's always natural, pressures that happen because of the start of something new and expectations for that and what you want that to look like. And the biggest key is that we just play our best, and you don't want them to play in a way that they have to, you don't play fearful of making mistakes and trying to be perfect. That's not going to happen, but you got to let it rip, and we got to attack them, offensively and attack them defensively and attack them on special teams. And that's really, an emphasis that we want to have for this week, and with all the new faces and all new things and new pieces that you're going to have and some new things that you might be doing, that's going to create definitely some added pressures, right? And so, but at the same time, it is game one, no matter how you want to slice it. And so you got to be able to recognize that and understand it. As we tell our team, it's the biggest game of the season because it's the next one, and that's an important part of that. And that will always be the focus, and that has to be the focus. And we do have a lot of guys that play a lot of football. Even some of the newer guys, that they have joined us, have played a lot of football on both sides of the ball, some of those new faces. So it's not like you're starting with a bunch of new freshmen, so, but that does make a difference as well. But they are coming together as a team to play for this university for the first time together. So definitely exciting as well, but there'll be things that are going to happen that you don't plan for, and you just got to respond to it, react in the right way.
Hey, Coach, what was your reaction when Illinois named Tommy DeVito starting QB? Were you preparing as if that was going to be the case, and what did he show you Saturday in order to prepare for this Friday's game? Yeah,
I guess the backup wasn't in spring ball. And so I guess in my mindset, we were just preparing for him. I guess I really wasn't surprised. I think he's a really talented player. And when you watched him, we studied him all, last few years at Syracuse, and then what he did in the spring game. And then obviously you get a chance to watch him. So we kind of expected that, to be honest with you. I would have been surprised if he wasn't. Really, man, I think he's a good player, and the ball comes out of his hand and you can just tell that he's got that moxie to him, and he has that charisma about him, and it showed up in the spring and it showed up Saturday. So yeah, he's a good player, and you want that out of your quarterback, and that guy's got to be a great decision maker and get the ball in the hands of the playmakers. And so, but I think they take some pressure off in a lot of ways because of the way they run the football, and so I don't think they just rely on him to kind of put it all on his back, so, but I think that there's obvious reasons why he, won the job, and I think he's really talented.
Sorry. Tom, I know you had Marty Clark for practice and stuff. What has he meant to the program and just his impact over the years? Yeah, just, he's one of those guys that very unassuming, very quiet in a lot of ways, just treats people in a tremendously high level of character that I appreciate about him. He's always kind. He's just a genuine guy that you can count on and trust, and he's just got a great heart for people. And it breaks your heart out, it rips your heart to see him go through this, and his family, and just seeing him yesterday was awesome. Great having him with us at practice, but man, just high quality person that's just been here for so long, so much part of our history. And I didn't even know that he had started the tradition with the little medallion eyes that we give to all the coaches and players. And even though I'd gotten several here since I've been here, did not realize he was the one back in 2001 that came up with that idea and shared it with Coach Kim Cameron. So, but just kind of, one of those that, because he isn't directly over just football. Mitch Goodmanson's our guy, and so some of our guys don't get to spend as much time with him. And so I really wanted him to be a good chance to see him yesterday and give him that award, that plaque, which was really special. And so just, man, great man. Unbelievable person that cares about this place, cares about people, and he's easy to root for, and we're just going to continue to pray for him and love him, support him to all we can.
Hey, Coach. I'm wondering if you can elaborate and talk about how you've developed as a coach, like year over year.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you try to, you study other coaches and you spend time with people, you work on different staffs, and you grow, and you want to be able to, get better, learn, and been blessed to be with some really, really quality men that I've coached with and learned from. And to me, it's always about trying to create an environment where you can make a difference in these kids' lives. That's always been, to me, if I wasn't doing that, I'd do something else. I just, if I didn't feel like I was helping them become a better man and helping them become the person I believe they were created to be, I just think if this is just all just trying to spend all these hours just to try and win a football game, I think it's, it wouldn't have the meaning that it does to me, So that's always been at the forefront. I've always cared about relationships with our guys. I've always cared about who they are and how they represent us and the way they learn to play the game and develop as a man through the process of preparing and all that this sport teaches you. So that to me, you just want to grow in those areas. I always want to surround myself with guys that care about those same types of things and learn from them. And how can I do a better job of that and balance all the different challenges you have and you keep growing as a coach, But to me, it's always, when I was a young high school coach, I would go and watch, when I started in the state of Florida, I'd go to Florida and watch them practice and spend time with their coaches. I did the same thing at Florida State. And I'd drive up there and sit in their offices and watch film and watch them practice. And when they would bring the games up, I'd kind of try to listen into what they were saying. And Coach Spurrier was at Florida and Coach Bowden was at Florida State. So I was pretty blessed to have two of the greatest in our profession at that point in time. So just be around those guys. And then you come up here, and I was a high school coach in this state. And then you come here, and I came to Purdue. I spent a lot of time at Purdue, and a lot of time here on those staffs and just growing and learning. That's how people always ask me, what do you, I says, go and meet with them and watch them and sit down with them. And I like to sit there and just watch them, correct practice film with their coaches, and some would let us do that, which was great. And some would not, but most would, especially the two here in Indiana and Purdue when I was coaching high school. And so just growing to learn and working camps and just trying to be around them and you just grow and you learn. And then I've just learned probably the best way I've learned throughout the years is just going and doing it, and going and coaching at the smaller level and working our way up, and ended up in the Big Ten and the SEC. So just a matter of surround yourself with great people and be willing to go and wherever you got to go and read and study and dive into it. And like I said, just try and find guys that I wanted to be like and spend time with them.
Tom, again, I'm sure you've been asked many. Did I interrupt somebody? The decision to go back to calling the plays on defense, exactly when did you decide to do that, and what was the process that led up to that decision?
I'd say at the forefront was just, a frustration with what we were able to do, a year ago. And just as you have coaching changes and, you just feel like, if you can solidify the key area that you feel the most expertise in, I guess is that the best way to say it, on defense. I want to make sure that was right, and if we played really good on that side of the football, then we had a chance, and so I just felt like we just kind of got away from some things that I believe in, that I want to make sure we're always doing. And so I definitely feel like I grew as a coach in the 3 years I didn't call it, in terms of as a head coach, and feel better about all that and the game day flow of everything. But I guess just to answer your question, it was more of, that's the area that I really feel is my strength as a coach, and I want to make sure that area is right. And so if it's not getting done the way you want it done, then you do it yourself, because the buck stops with me. So really at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. And so got great staff, great assistants to help me, and Chad's done a great job and I like the balance that we have. I don't feel like I'm having to do all the things I did when I was calling it the first time, but yet it's still the scheme that we want, and the calling that we want, and the way we organize everything. So, but you got to have great people. There's no doubt. You got to trust them and give our guys a lot of autonomy to be able to do things. We've had definitely some defensive coaches have been here a long time with me, so that's a positive thing without question. So, but yeah, that's at the end of the day, that's what it came down to, but we all got to do it together, and the guys got to play at a high level defensively, because that's what's demanded in this league.
Obviously, going back to the concept of just opening up against a Big Ten opponent. Last year, you guys traveled to Iowa, really hostile environment. This year, you're going to host that game at home. What kind of impact does that make, and how big of a difference does it get to be to host that game?
Well, I'm glad we're home. You know, I think it makes a difference. I mean, I think that's a tough environment to play in. I'd never coached there before, and that's very, very challenging without question. And the way it started was probably worst case scenario for us. And so, just being home is important. I think that's once again, I don't pick those. So, but I am thankful to be home. And so, but I think anytime you have the familiarity of playing in your home stadium, I think just not the hostility of the opposing crowd, you know, all those different things that play into that are obvious things, but I think just for your guys and their comfort level, and we do all of our scrimmages in the stadium, and we do our mock game in the stadium, and we get a lot of reps in there, and the guys love playing at home in front of our fans, you know. So I think that's it makes a tough situation better, you know, when you open with such a high caliber team. So just to me, that's you know, I think you go through the process, and we've had more of them here than we've had away, you know. First, the openers that we've had, they were Big Ten games, you know, so that's been a positive without question. So, but we see the benefits of being able to have a great first game, you know. So, but yeah, I'm very thankful that we're home, and I'm just excited for our players to come and compete and play at a high level for our fans and begin 2022 in the way we want it to start. So, appreciate you guys. Let's have an awesome rest of the week, and Elio.